Hey, booze, hey. Do your blankets feel like super glue in the morning? Well, sis, it's time to shake them off. Welcome to Wake Up Happy Sis, the show that jumpstarts your day with a bang. We're strolling down these self-care streets as we navigate the maze of wellness and healing. We're helping you live happy, healed, and whole. And we do it all with a hearty dose of belly laughs for good measure. Stay tuned and get ready to wake up happy, sis. Welcome, everybody. Hey, booze. Hey, it's your girl, LeAnne. Your Chief Self-Love Officer over here at Wake Up Happy Sis. And you are tuned into the Wake Up Happy Sis show. We're broadcasting live on KCCR Cityscape Radio, where we're changing the narrative for our people because we're always telling our stories our way. And we're unapologetic about it. So, we're here today to bring the energy, the wisdom, and the tools that you need to thrive unapologetically. We're done living in survival mode. Today's episode is all about aligning your soul and unlocking your personal blueprint to inner peace. It is Spiritual Literacy Month, and we're diving into how to connect with your higher self, how you can find meaning in your experiences, and cultivate peace in your everyday life. And I think with all the things that are going on in the world today, baby, that is very necessary. So we've got a special guest with us today, Dr. Akua Feathers, a life strategist who's redefining self-discovery, and we're going to bring her up to the stage. Yes, welcome.
Hello. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
You are
Sharing this
welcome.
space.
We are so honored to have you here with us today. As you guys, I'm sure you guys don't see Sharonda here. She is not feeling her best today, so we're going to send her all kind of love, light, and healing energy for a speedy recovery for her. So, if you're hearing us, seeing us, listening to us, make sure you share this out with your friends, your family. With your coworkers, with whomever that you want to share with. So let's get into it. So I like to let our guests introduce themselves because I feel like who better to introduce you and tell us all the fabulous things about you than yourself. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. So like you said, I'm Dr. Akua, and thank you for pronouncing my name correctly. I don't know how, but people get me with Akaya, Akura, Akula. I don't know. I am
Like
Dr.
it
Listen,
looks and it looks so direct.
one
Like
would think. One would think. But yeah, I'm Dr. Akua, and I am the Black Woman's Wellbeing Coach. And through group coaching, one on one coaching, training sessions, and all of my products, my number one goal is to help Black women to find that space within them that their authenticity lies, their wellness lies, their true self lies, so that they can then learn how to bring it forward and live it out.
yes, I love that. I think we are so very much aligned in what we do. So Wake Up Happy Sis is aligned very similarly. We are a wellness-based business, and we're really about helping Black women live happy, healing, and fulfilling lives by finding out what freedom and fulfillment really looks like in their lives. And
Yes.
with all the 8 dimensions of wellness, right? So we have to know who we are, what makes us happy, what also triggers us and what hurts us, so that we can live our best lives and get out of this, what I consider survival mode that we always are so used to living in. I'm tired of living in survival mode. I don't know about anybody.
Yes. But you know why we tired? Because it's been so long. And I always have to preface it and say, never any disrespect, never any shade to those who came before us, because they
Mm.
did what they had to do. They lived it, then they taught it, and it just became the norm. And like you said, it's literally time to move away from survival and it's time to start thriving.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's work from people like us that helps that, because all we've known for generations is how to survive. So how do we make that shift is really
Hmm.
the powerful place that our work sits in.
Yes. And I think a lot of it stems from, I mean, one, the systemic racism and things that black women are handed, not even black people, black women specifically are in this precarious position that we're expected to be the foundation of everything. Think of
Everything.
any space that we walk into, we're expected to uplift, to bring forth life into anything that we
Yes.
do, to never show weakness because we can't be weak and hurt, but to never show anger because
No.
then we're the angry black woman. We're
Yeah.
expected to wear this superwoman. I don't remember if Superwoman had a cape, but this cape. And it's time for us to take the cape off.
100%.
It is time for us to start realizing that it's okay to put yourself first. And when I say that, that brings so much stress
Yes.
to most people because they're like, oh, no, no. Why is it that other races feel are very much okay expecting a certain level of standard of quality in their life that we are not allowed to expect? They already know how to pamper themselves and put themselves
Yes.
first,
Yes.
and to just realize that their health has to come first if I'm
Yes.
going to continue to care for the people that I do. But my worth has to stop being tied to my work
Yes.
and my service to others. Why can't I be happy just because I'm freaking awesome?
That part. Oh my gosh. And one thing I want to say to something that you just said, because I agree with you wholeheartedly. When we say you have to come first, there's this whole flurry of responses that we get along the lines of no, can't, because my kids, because my spouse, because my job, because my pastor, because my sorority, because my all of these other, and that has become our identity. It
Mm-hmm.
moved from this racist expectation to a socialized acceptation. We make up words around here. We, me.
We do.
Okay, amen.
Mm-hmm.
Amen. And now it's a part of our identity. So we take it as an insult, or as if we're not woman enough, if we dare to think that we should come first. Because now, who am I if I'm not your helper, your supporter, your ear for comfort, your arms for the person who am I if I'm not those things? And that is the work. The very first step is to notice those questions and all of that discomfort that comes up,
Yeah.
and start asking questions of those things. Who am I if I'm not? I don't know, but I'm about to find out. Yeah, but if I don't do it, then it ain't gonna get done. Then let it not get done.
And
If
sometimes
I don't,
things need to not get done.
it just don't get done. Oh,
Yeah.
if I don't do it, they're not gonna do it right. Then let them not do it right.
How else are they going to learn if they don't fail? We don't want to let anybody fail. And it's like we wear our pain, our tiredness, our overwhelm as a badge of sorts.
Oh my gosh,
I'm
nail on the
not
head.
think about it. If I'm not doing all, like you said, if I'm not doing all the things, then who am I? It's this badge of honor that, you know what? Yesterday alone, I took the kids to soccer and football and this, and I did this, and I went to church and I went to do this. And I just got home and that's this badge that we wear that has now become, like you said, a part of who we are. We don't know how to exist. It's like when you become an empty nester and you've realized your whole life has been Mrs. Somebody and mommy and mom, whatever they call you. And now you have to remember you were a person before
That
all of this, a person who had wants, needs, desires,
yes,
loves. You had all of these things in yourself, and you
yes,
should not lose them just because I've now become Mrs. Somebody, or I'm now mom, or I'm
yeah.
now the head of such and such.
So check this. What's really interesting is before becoming mom and Mrs. and all of these things, did we really know who we were? Because even as young girls, black, black women, when we were young girls, there were expectations of us there.
Yeah.
So all of our life, we've been told what we should be, what we ought to be, what we're supposed to be, what we need to be. And that left little time for us to discover who we actually are. So your point is so valid. The fact that now that I'm an empty nester, I don't know who I am. Well, I never knew who I was. And so the opportunity is because I don't have a choice. Like my kids are gone. And this is where a lot of people are like, oh well, let me get a dog, let me get a cat, let me sign up for this
We
project. Let
move,
me
we move the focus so we don't have to move the focus. You see
that
what
part.
I'm saying? If
I
I keep
do.
focusing out here, I don't have to focus internally
Yep.
and really look at who am I absent of all the service that I give to others. And my
Yes.
first thing, I was watching this, it was a clip because I don't really watch TV. So I was on social media and I was on YouTube, and this woman made this statement that even for me changed how I view, and it changed my practice, it changed everything. One little statement, and it was about my worth has to stop being tied to my service,
Yeah.
to my service of others. Everything that we do is in service of others. And that has become such a big part of who we are that we don't know who we are outside of that service. And we don't honestly believe that we are worthy of happiness and all these other things out just because it's me, because that's a cultural thing. You're
Yes.
supposed to give up your life for your husband and your kids and your church, and you now become the de facto foundation upon which everything else is built, and you're just down here and you don't think down there anymore. I have to keep thinking up at all these other levels and hats and things that I'm stacking on top of me.
Right.
And how do we start peeling back those layers? Because like you said, most people started having kids and getting married when they were young. They
Yeah.
didn't have an identity. So now 30 years later, I have to come and circle back around and do the work that I didn't do then, because I was told I have to pour my life, my heart, my soul, my intentionality into everything else that has been placed upon me.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say the first step to doing that is approach with curiosity.
Mhm.
Start asking those questions because, and it's not necessarily who am I, because that's a really big question to ask of someone who's never asked it before. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Um, but just when those thoughts come up, I need something to do. Do I need something to do? Why do I think I need something to do? What is it that I'm looking to fulfill? What feels empty in me? Why am I thinking that it's got to come from outside of myself
Yeah.
in order for it to be fulfilled? What might I have inside of me? You see how like those questions can start leading
Oh
to
yeah, one is it's going to lead you down a wonderful rabbit hole of
absolutely.
self-discovery, especially even just the question. Because I agree, don't just ask, "Who am I?"
Yeah.
That can change by the day for me. By the
Period.
I'm
So
always
many things.
shifting. I'm always shifting. I don't know who I am from minute to minute sometimes. Okay, I got a lot going on up here and in here,
Yeah.
so it changes. And who I am tomorrow is not going to be the same person I am today, because I'm
No.
shaped by the things that happened today.
Yes.
So for me, I like trying to get down to what does happiness feel like to me in this moment, right? Me trying to be very mindful and focused in this present moment. How am I feeling at this moment? What makes me happy? If I'm not happy, what will it take for me to get there? And you
Yes.
have to start doing that deep work of, what do I like? What triggers me? What pain am I constantly bearing? And how many of these little, what I call little doors to our soul, where we put our pain, our little pains, how many of those do I got to unlock and work through
Yeah.
before I can do that? And to me, this, I think it brings it around to our topic today, which is really spirituality. Is because spirituality to me is not just, okay, go to church, praise the Lord, all that. Spirituality is, there is something larger than ourselves
Yeah.
that we are connected to. We are connected to core. We are connected to love. We are all connected to one another. And how do I align with the highest versions of myself?
Yes.
Right? How do I do the work that whatever God you feel you're serving, how do I connect with the being that he or she has called me to be?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So how do we
100%.
start peeling back these layers when one, we didn't know who we were to begin with outside of all of our attachments and our requirements and our obligations? How do we begin to peel back those layers so that we can even get to this higher self and a level of spiritual awareness within our own selves?
Yeah. So one, it starts with the questions. As we have those questions, we then need to listen, because all of the while that we've been adhering to what other people have told us and living up to other people's expectations or living down somebody's beliefs about us, all the time we've been doing that, there's always been this little voice or this little knowing or this little feeling on the inside of us that by this time we've learned almost to just fully ignore. But it's almost like, you
Yeah.
know, right? It's like that. I'll use your example of like the little doors. We put that voice like behind a door in a room,
Mm-hmm.
but and she's not rude. She's not invasive, but she's also never quiet. What happens is we learn to stop
Persistent.
hearing, huh?
She's persistent.
Oh, for sure, because she wants you. She wants. I'm gonna talk about me. She wants me to be me.
Yeah.
And so what happens is we've learned to ignore her, but we still feel her. Whenever we get ready to do something we don't want to do, we start to feel extremely tired or irritated or frustrated. I don't know why they keep asking me to do this. I'm gonna go ahead and do this real quick, but they getting on my nerve. Little things like that. Start paying attention to how often you say stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's that inner voice. That's
That's
that
spirit.
authentic you.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is
Trying
spirit. Mm-hmm.
Yes, trying to get you to connect to who you are and disconnect from what they want you to do. I don't want to do this. Then don't.
Why
Like
are you doing it?
our bodies tell us exactly what it is that we need, and it comes from that spirit. It comes from that source, whatever you call them. It comes from that place, but because we've learned to tune them out unintentionally, we're also tuning out that source. That very thing that we go to church for day by day every week. I'm recovering churchgoer, so it was a Sunday through Saturday thing. That thing that we meditate every day for, that thing that we journal. All of those practices are wonderful. Don't change it. Don't change anything about doing them. Add to it the part where you actually listen.
Mm-hmm.
Listen to what you are saying and what you are desiring and what you are wanting. I don't want to go to church this morning. Then don't go. I don't want to show up for the soccer game. Then don't show up. Whatever it is, listen to you. That's how we get that higher self that we everybody talking about. You never gonna reach that if you keep ignoring yourself. Full
Yeah.
stop.
And I think that we have to get away from the concept that spirituality equals religion
That part.
because the two are not the same.
They are not.
I am not religious. I believe in God. I believe there is always a higher power. And I believe there are things that are outside of ourselves that drive us, our ancestors, you know, all of that. But I'm not religious. I'm not going in a church
Right.
for the most part because there's just a lot that goes on there. I don't feel that I have to be in a church to be at one with God because God is in here and He's with me everywhere I go, right? But I want people to realize that your spirituality, your attunement to your higher self, you're listening to self, to source, because source is God, is love, is self. It's deeply personal.
Yeah.
Like you said, it might be your connection, and that time with God might be meditation. Mine might be journaling. But in all aspects, we do have to listen and get attuned to what we are saying, what our bodies are telling us, what our soul is telling us. And you're only going to get good at it by actually doing it.
Yeah.
You actually have to stop and start listening. And that's why a lot of my practice is rooted in mindfulness, in
Yeah.
helping people learn to um, tune out all the extraneous stuff and focus on, where am I right now? How am I
Yeah.
feeling? Let me do a body scan, right? So that when something happens and I'm getting that feeling of I don't want to go to church, where are you feeling it at? Oh, I got
Yeah. Come on. Come on.
to hurt. I start to get a headache. I get nauseous. I get irritable. Start realizing, because that's how you align your triggers to your
Come
responses,
on.
to how can I now start to work through this and resolve it, right? But until you listen to your body and you become attuned that when you're doing something that your body, your spirit, your heart, your mind, God, whoever you call it, the ancestors don't want you to do, or it's not in your immediate best need at this moment,
Yeah. Yeah.
your body will always have a sign for you.
Yes.
We just got to listen.
We have to listen, and I want to say this not as a shock value, but stop listening, that equates to suppression. And that suppression is what then results in a lot of the illness and dis-ease that we experience. A lot of we know, there's tons of research about it. If we don't, that Black women, we get diagnosed with certain diseases and illnesses at a higher rate than everybody else. Why? Because all of that stuff that we're suppressing, it has to go somewhere. It's
Mhm.
bigger than just, oh, that's no big deal. I just, I did what I didn't want to do. It's no big deal. No, 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 friend. It very much is a big deal. Because when we put that voice, we put that source that in the closet, we tuck it away, we don't listen to it, we don't respond accordingly and do what we are asking ourselves to do and what we need ourselves to do, that energy has got to go somewhere.
It's got to go somewhere.
And
And usually it
unfortunately,
goes internal.
right.
Mhm.
And we see it all the time because some of it seeps out. The people that we like, she's so mean. Why is she so evil? She's so honoring. A lot of times it's because that's some part of her, that person that has been suppressed and unfulfilled. It
Mhm.
comes out in so many ways. I have a theory. I have not looked at research on this, but I believe that since it's true about physicality, like it can cause us to be physically ill, I 100% believe that it could also impact our mental state. My
Oh, it
well-being,
does.
right? My well-being is impacted unless I learn to align my soul, unless I learn to connect, like you said, with that place of spirituality. Fine, you go to, so I told you I'm a recovering church girl. So anytime church folks hear this kind of conversation, I'm not spiritual, I'm a Christian. Okay, fine. Call it what you want. I'm not gonna argue about what
Right.
you call it. What I'm inviting you to is the space where you allow that Christianity to lead you to this place of alignment, as opposed to ritualistic practices. Move into that space of questioning,
Mhm.
listening, so that you can get into that place of alignment.
Yeah, because we have to move away from blind sheepdom, I call it.
I
Right.
understood.
I mean,
Yeah.
we went to church. We weren't a part of the, you know, uh, you got prayer club, you got this, you got the young adults. Man, we weren't a part of that, but we were at church every Sunday. Even if my grandma didn't go, we went. Right. We had our own church home. We had all the things. Right. But we were given free will and free thought for a reason.
Thank you.
God tells you don't follow man, follow God. Now I can't tell you scriptures and all of that, but I know what God says to me. He says, stop following man and follow me. Seek me. That means that preacher ain't always right.
Ain't.
Sometimes they are working in their own best interest, as you saw a lot of these preachers getting outed for doing things that are ungodly, unchristian like. But people will still blindly follow and listen to the things that they say
Yeah.
because we're supposed to be obedient from a religious standpoint. You can be obedient without being a sheep and being and have thought and have questions. But I wanted to circle back around to one thing about the stress, right? Now, there's a study by Black Women's Health Imperative that revealed that chronic stress affects 80% of Black women studied. And to me, what I think that really shows is that we really have to find these practices that promote emotional balance,
Yes.
mental health,
Yes.
and physical health as well. Because, like you said, it doesn't just affect your body; it affects your mental and emotional state as well,
Yeah.
right? We have to find ways that work for us. For some people, that is studying the word and really understanding what that word and you know out of the Bible. For those that may be like, "What's she talking about?" Study the word and see what God is calling you to do. Not what the minister telling you to do, not what whatever. And I'm not saying don't listen to them. I'm saying you have the ability to have your own relationship with God. And as you lean more into seeking Him and understanding and listening and all of these things, He speaks to you. He speaks to you all the time.
Yeah.
When you didn't feel real right about this new person that you met, but you wanted to go with it anyway, and then they stabbed you in the back. The times when you didn't feel like you were able to speak up around certain people, and then you come to find out the times that people have hurt you and broken you to the core because you kept them in your life when God was telling you, I gave you how many signals and times did I give you to leave this person alone? Now I've got to make it to where you have to,
Yeah. Yeah.
because you're stopping the things that I have planned for you. I've got so much greater waiting for you over here, but you can't get to it because you stuck looking behind you. You stuck looking over here, and I got this new, beautiful, shiny, great thing. And I think we've all been stuck in that.
I know. I was getting ready to say, if you don't mind, please stop talking about my life. I just would like that. If you don't mind, if you don't mind.
So that's usually Sharonda every episode. She was a guest who never left in season 3. We're now in season 10.
I
Um,
love that.
guest who never left. And every time she's like, because she comes in, she doesn't know the topic before. Because I really want, we don't rehearse anything. So if
Yeah.
anybody who's ever watched our episodes is real raw, honest. She doesn't know what we're talking about before we get here. I am the planner. I plan out the whole show. I got topic points. I got all the things. But she's always like, "Can you get out of my life?"
Just saying. I'm just saying, if you don't mind. But you are speaking facts. Like it, that misalignment shows up in all of these different places. And it's not one of the reasons that people avoid what we're talking about as, the work to get into alignment is because we think it's difficult. It's not as difficult as it sounds. The thing that makes it difficult is our willingness or lack thereof, because we're talking about all of these things that we see are the result of not being in alignment. It's the relationships that end so painfully, the opportunities that seem to have passed us by, the circumstances that we would have loved to have turn out differently.
Yeah.
Those are not punishments. That's not the devil. It's not because you were disobedient. It's and it is because of a misalignment. I try to reframe things, because when we hear the wording, it's because of disobedience. That's usually said in a punitive way. It's like a punishment, and it's actually an insult in the church. Nobody wants to be called somebody that don't have faith. You don't pray. You're disobedient. I can recall very very vividly a time in my life where I literally got very little to no sleep. I would wake up, get the kids ready, get them to school, get me to work, come home, do the family things. We'd have dinner, we'd have family time, get them to bed. And then I would be up all night studying. Literally, I had this long counter, and I had my Bible, my concordance. This was back before the internet was so popular. Had my concordance,
Yeah.
had my all my stuff stretched out, and I still had a man of God telling me that I need to be in my word more. Friend, how much more? There's only 24 hours.
Yeah.
The point that I'm making is that um, because we hear these different phrases that tell us we're not in the word, we're not in faith, and da 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 da. We shy away when we hear things about misalignments and
Yeah.
disobedience. At the end of the day, it's not a punishment. It's not an indication that there's anything wrong with you. What it is, it's an alarm clock awakening you to an opportunity to make another decision. And that decision
Love that.
is to listen to what you keep pushing away,
Yeah. 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 It's
right?
time to unlock some doors. And
Yes.
what I liken it to is every time we're hurt, every time we get hurt, we experience trauma, we go through something negative, we kind of lock it away. It's another little thing. I'm gonna throw that key away because we're not gonna come back around to this. But think of it like a balloon with pressure.
Come on.
Every entry you make into that balloon, every time you blow into that balloon, another little piece of trauma, another little pain, another little anger, another little hurt, another little disappointment, another, it gets to critical mass.
Come on.
And what happens when you give it that one final blow?
That one.
Everything, it blows up, it
Yeah.
pops
Yeah.
because it cannot stand anymore. And because we are not doing the work, because we are not listening to our spirit, to our soul that's telling us, right? Because we're scared to walk into the storm. So we keep running away from it until it overtakes us,
Yeah.
until we start our healing journey. And a part of that is listening to yourself, practicing mindfulness so that you can see what's going on in this moment, and we can stop being so reactive emotionally to everything,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
That I can react to something with thought, with intentionality
Yes.
versus raw emotion. Now, I'm a Cancer, so that's very hard for me to say because Cancers are the most emotionally intelligent of the signs,
Mm.
right? For those that believe in astrology. If you don't, that's fine too. But this is my show, so this is what we're going to talk about. Yeah. But Cancers are the most emotionally intelligent, and we feel things a lot deeper than most people do. That's why
Mm.
people say, "Oh, you're a crybaby. Oh, you're this." We really ain't. We don't cry a lot. We're not the crybabies, but we're emotionally intelligent enough that
Mm.
we don't just look at things from our perspective. We look at it from your perspective too. And a lot of us are empaths, so we feel your pain, right? But in that, we have to learn how to shift, how to navigate, how to not internalize everything. And it took me a long time. I'm 53. And it took me until well into my 40s to really, one, know who I was, two, to stop running away from the problems and locking everything inside and being comfortable enough with me and loving me more than I loved other
Yes.
people,
Yes.
to where I could say, hey, we're not locking no more locked doors. Okay.
Period.
We're not locking no more doors. We're not hiding any
Be
more pain. We're not masking.
be
Be-
like my daddy and just take the doors off. Just take them off at the.
Woo, baby, look, don't get in trouble. we ain't got
I'm
no
telling
privacy.
you,
We ain't got no privacy in this house. We can have no doors. You got a
at
curtain.
all,
Now
at
you got
all.
a curtain.
Period.
You got a
Take them
curtain.
off.
Yeah,
Take them off.
we gotta do that. And as we get into spirituality, not religion, so I'm removing the religion from it. As we get into spirituality, meaning we know ourself, we know core, we know our relation to our higher self. When you start operating on a higher level, meaning I now can process my emotions, real time. I can process them now, right? And I've learned that I don't have to feel this pain and be triggered every single time, and it take me back to the very root rawness, that healing journey, and having that attunement to yourself and getting things back in alignment is going to help you, so that the next time you're triggered, that trigger don't take you all the way back to the bottom rung.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And here's the thing. So it's going to sound like I'm tangential, but I'm not. Number one, some of the things that we're triggered from didn't even come from us, because in our DNA is all of the trauma that our ancestors experienced. Number two, um, there is a train of thought that suggests that it's going to be another handful of generations before that even wipes itself out. The only way, though, that it can wipe itself out is if we start doing something different along the lines of what you're saying here. And I'm a huge person that when you tell me something that sounds good, I'm like, bet. Next question I have for you is how. Don't give me a bunch of conceptual stuff, because it all sounds good and I've heard it before. What is the way that I get that done? And it's coming out here, but it's first of all, approach with curiosity.
Yes.
And what that does is it allows us to release some of that, like, I know what I'm doing, I don't need nobody, I got this, da 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 da.
Mm-hmm.
When we approach with curiosity, we let that down, and we position ourselves, we put ourselves in the position to receive some of that good that you give to other people. Because won't we stand in a position and offer so much grace and so much empathy and so much understanding and so much support? Well, they don't need it. Oh, they don't understand. Or, it, and so many excuses we're making up for others. But when it comes to us, I'm fine. I only need 5 hours of sleep. I don't need breakfast today. I'll be okay. Like, we're more willing to offer grace to other people, and then we shit on ourselves.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We're more willing to let other people have this passive understanding, or this passive, like, let all of that go. It's time to turn that to yourself. Somebody asked this question. We were having a conversation. I was like, yeah, and it's all about self-love. And she was like, yeah, but do we love ourselves? Because if you define, how do I know you love your children, your spouse, your whomever, you would start talking about a bunch of actions that you do for them and a bunch of ways that you show up for them. So then if I flip it and I ask you, do you love yourself? And all of those actions that you do for other people are missing. What does that mean, friend?
Yeah.
Curiosity, listening, relax that I'm gonna call it stubbornness, because I'm a Taurus, and allegedly we stubborn. People don't know how to pronounce resilient. Allegedly, they don't know how to pronounce resilient. That's all it is. I'm just saying.
Hey, I get it.
We be knowing. I'm just saying. But relax that and allow yourself to receive, and allow you to be the one to give it.
Yes, I love that, especially how I phrase it is, give yourself the love that you so freely give to everyone else.
Period.
Period. And to me, um, it's also about, we have to get past that feeling that we're being selfish.
Come on.
When we say, I can't do that. I don't, you know what? I'm just so busy. I can't. How many times, if raise your hand if this has ever been you. You took on too much, and yet another thing at work, even though you knew you didn't have the capacity to give it what you were supposed, that, right? You are doing the things, and you're going out with your friends, and you're doing all these other things when you know you don't have it in you to do one more thing. We as people, especially as Black women, are so used to giving out of our cup. So we have this analogy, the cup and the saucer.
Yeah.
And I know everyone's heard it, right? What's in the cup is for me.
Yeah.
Only for me. Nobody else should be digging their spoon, their straw, their hand, their finger, their anything, they lips into my cup. The overflow that goes
Yeah.
into the saucer is called my abundance. My abundance is what I give to you.
Yep.
That's what I give out. Whatever's flowing from my cup into that saucer, you get that. That's what is left. Oh, too much. Myself is full. So now I can easily and comfortably give to you. But so many of us have been conditioned that we have to give our very last and our very all.
Yeah.
And we are addicted to that, what do you call that inept feeling that we have? We've become addicted to
Yes.
that.
Yes.
It ain't right if I don't feel overly worked and tired and overwhelmed.
Yes.
That's how I know I'm a good parent, a
Come
good
on.
wife, a good churchgoer, a good whatever. No, it isn't.
It is not. I literally, I pick up my phone and I call bullshit because that is not the truth. But like I said before, it has become a part of our identity.
Yeah.
So if I don't do that and I don't replace it with anything else, then I begin to feel like I'm, what's that word? Spiraling. I feel like I'm spiraling because you've taken away, or I've stopped doing, or life has taken away my need to give out. And at the end of the day, and I wanted to say this when you said it earlier about it being a badge of honor. It immediately brought me to those conversations where you'd be like, "Girl, what's up? I ain't seen you. Well, how you doing?" "Girl, I'm busy. I'm just tired." And the person responds,
Yeah.
"Go, I know, girl. Ooh, you always be." It's like this celebratory moment where we share our overwhelm. And because we can connect in that space, then we've okayed one another.
Hmm.
What I've started doing,
Trauma bonding.
it's very much so, very much so. I started flipping that when girl, how you doing? Oh, you know what? I've been resting, so I feel good. And it's almost like a glitch in the face of the other person.
You're like,
What? Huh? That's not how this is supposed to go. We're supposed to exchange our trauma and then walk away. But because I'm flipping that script, then I get to go into a conversation where I'm encouraging another Black woman
hmm
to rest.
yeah.
And what gets to me about that shifting is because it's very much ing, it's a process, is now you start to get to some real some truths where
Mm.
people start admitting or acknowledging, girl, I don't know what I would do if I was to take a whole 6 hours off. What am I going to do in 30 minutes? Right there, that's showing that you're not connected to yourself.
Yeah. Yes, and we have to get back to that connection, because at one point we came into this world with everything that we needed within
Yeah.
ourselves, right? Now, did we
Mhm.
know it? No, we were infants. I mean, I'm of the mindset that below the age of about one, we have all the answers to everything in
I think that too. I think it's a little. I think it's like maybe like 5, maybe around 3 to 5.
life.
Like we know it. We
We
can't say
can't
it.
verbalize it. We can't always verbalize it, but we have all that. And as we get older and as the world starts stomping on our dreams and our hopes and our creativity and our youthful abandon, then we lose that as we get into this real world life thing out of it, and but what we have to start doing is, how do I get back into alignment? To me, that's the state we're trying to get back
Yeah,
into, where I can be happy and express it. I can be sad and express it
that part.
without trauma bonding with somebody over it. Don't ask me how I'm doing if you want me to just say I'm fine and I'm not,
Hmm.
because I just had that happen in a conversation the other day. Um, I was leaving a friend's house, and this other friend, I was talking to him. He was getting ready for a trip, and I just was breaking down. And we were texting, and he was like, "Do you want to talk about it?"
Mm.
You have to have people who will hold space for you while you are
Definitely.
on your journey. Self healing isn't a destination. You are never fully healed. Just like in cancer, your cancer's in remission. And we hope it never comes back.
Yeah.
But there may always be things that happen that trigger you back into pain. But the more healing you do, the more you bring your life back into alignment, the more you finally step out of survival mode,
Yes.
the less it hurts every time. And
Yeah.
when I, this is the thing about survival mode that I think people aren't ready for. When you move from survival mode to thriving, it requires you to change everything.
Oh, yes.
Cannot operate in the same way that you did when you were in survival mode. When you're in survival mode, that's crisis mode.
Yeah.
That's all systems red. We got the soldiers are ready. It is not. We are now in a state of abundance. We're in a state of bliss. It doesn't mean you're not aware and ready in case something
Mm.
happens, but it means that I don't have to be on guard and at
All the
attention
time. Yeah.
all the time
Mm.
and looking over my shoulder and waiting for the shoe to drop and for the things.
Yeah.
Everything starts here. Once we realize that this survival mode is mostly here, we can
Yeah.
choose different and we can choose. Every day you wake up is a new opportunity for you to choose, like you said, a new decision. I loved
Yeah.
how you put that. It gives me a chance to right some wrongs that I made yesterday and to make better and different decisions that will change my trajectory. I'll
Yeah.
say this and then because when people say timeline jumping,
Mm-hmm.
all we're doing is we've made a conscious decision that I'm going to stop feeling, thinking, seeing this way. And
Yeah.
I now that one decision change your trajectory
Yeah.
because I'm no longer focused on all the negative, all the unhappy, all the pain, bitter, hurt, anger, sadness, betrayal. I'm choosing to focus on happy. I'm choosing to focus on and to see the glass half full instead of all the way empty.
Yeah. I want to go back to what you said about us when we were children and how at some point we share the belief that as children we know we got it. My friend has a 2-year-old and I'll be like, okay, tell me all the secrets. Just tell them to me. I won't tell nobody else because I'm joking with it. But we have those answers. And when we get to that age, you said life stomps it out of us. And I agree. What we do, and this connects with what you just said. That's why I was over here geeking out because I literally wrote it down because I'm of a certain age and I don't want to forget.
Yes.
We learn how to silence those things. We
Yes.
go to our parents or our family of origin or our whomever, and we say, "When I grow up, I want to be a blah blah blah, whatever it is." And then
Mhm.
the adults around us teach, "Oh, you can't do that, sweetie. There's never been something like that. There's no such thing as that. We've never done that. How you gonna do that? You don't know what you're talking about." Little subtle things like that. The
Mhm.
message is repeated in those ways. The most supportive of parents can unintentionally quiet somebody's dream. Then, when you put the little black girls and the little black boys in the classroom, then we are now susceptible to the biases and the racism that come from all of those folks that are teaching us, that are serving us lunch in the cafeteria, that are our
Mhm.
counselors, etc. So if we can learn, which we've already said we can, if we can learn how to quiet those things that are within us, then we can most certainly learn how to awaken them back up.
Yes.
And that's when we use words like alignment and we talk about jumping timelines and manifesting this, and a lot of the vocabulary is literally just an invitation. It's a whole lot of different words to say get back to self, connect back
Right.
with self, connect with that source so that you can be that in that authentic place of you.
Yes. And good morning, Latoya. Thank you for tuning in. And I 100% agree. Um, they're just a bunch of words to say the same thing,
Yeah.
right? Getting back to who I am, to who I was called to be,
Period.
and who I've learned to suppress. That little naggy inner voice that's always talking to you, right? Not the hater one, not the
Right.
hater one,
Right.
but the one that's telling you we should be doing something else.
But see,
There's got to be more. There's
yeah.
got to be something different.
And real quick, it takes that connecting with self to be able to discern the difference between that hater voice and that one that actually is in connection with who we were called to be and who we were created to be.
100% agree. Mine
Yeah.
is saying Ricky Bobby. He's the hater.
I cannot.
He's the hater. I had look. You have to look. I'm. This is what I teach in my. I don't practice nothing. I don't teach nothing. I don't practice myself.
Period.
Is Ricky Bobby is the internal hater. And I agree, you have to have that discernment to know when it's Ricky Bobby or when it's your real inner self telling you, stop, fear, this is a problem, do not go that way.
Yeah.
Versus, see, and to me, they have different voices. That's why
Yeah.
this is called Ricky Bobby, right? And the other one is Alexis. We ain't gonna talk about Alexis. She's that's the protector. Now,
Oh,
no, I am not a person who has a disassociative, disorder. I'm just talking about the levels of my personality. For
yeah.
those that are not aware, there is not a real Ricky Bobby inside my head, right? As a separate entity. So with Ricky Bobby, the conversation sounds different.
Yes.
It's more tinged in fear. And this is
Yes.
so you guys can help try to discern maybe between where yours lie. It's more hinged in fear. They're not going to believe you. Who's going to really listen to you? You're a fat black woman that's in the wellness space. Now you know I'm getting real when I'm telling you what my inner one is saying sometimes to me. Why would someone listen to you as an overweight black bald black woman?
Mm.
Blah 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 blah. But I'm probably healthier than a lot of you skinny women. Let's go to the doctor, right? Everything isn't black and white, and sometimes that inner hater tries to show you all one way, all the negative. And we're not gonna say
Mm.
that's the black or the white. It's whichever color you want it to be, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's the white side, not the black side. That's just me, right? But that's the difference. Whereas the other one is like, this isn't a safe course of action
Yeah.
versus why would someone so listen to the voices that are coming at you. Is one trying to warn you, and or is one trying to scare you,
Yeah.
right? Like, to me, that's the difference. And realizing sometimes you have to talk back to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I literally I can't remember what the situation was, but I was telling my that's what it was. So when we talk about, and I don't agree with the term imposter syndrome. I have a whole thing about
Mm-hmm.
that. We'll get into that one day. But I was talking to her about, some struggles that I was having with regards to being in a certain space and hearing that voice you're talking about. What makes you think you can
Yes.
do that, and what makes you qualified to do that? And she was like, talk back to it, answer the question, what makes you think you can do that? And I'm like, I started explaining and answering why I'm more than qualified, and that it literally physically felt different, because
Yeah.
instead of pushing it aside and tucking away in shame in response to that voice, and I call mine Agnes, always giving negative energy to shit,
Yes.
instead of hiding, right, and pushing it away, I'm now responding to it, because what that does is it helps me to pull on that empowered side.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there might be some things that I need to learn additionally, but it's not going to stop me from moving forward. I'm going to learn it while I'm going, depending on what it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
At the end of the day, I got, okay, Agnes, at the end of the day, I have to stay in tune with that side of me that, like you said, is and I'm going to say it a little bit different, is guiding me with wisdom and is supporting me, as opposed to trying to make me afraid
Yeah.
and
Stop the
fear
progression.
monger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And once we do that, right, I think we've given you guys today, because we got to wrap up in a minute. We've given you guys some key things that you guys can start trying and working on now, right? Go into it with, like she said, an openness and and a curiosity. When you look at stuff from a position of openness and curiosity, then you're not going to allow the fear part to enter into it. Answer the question.
Mhm.
Every time the self doubt comes, answer it, because you've got an answer.
Yeah.
Answer it in the affirmative, not in the negative, right? Not with, oh, I don't know why, I don't think they should. You know why, because you've been studying, you've been doing the work, you've been putting in the hours. And maybe you'll come up with some gaps. What I try to do is write the positive and the negative. So these are great things to journal about,
Yeah.
right? Look, I will tell you. So I make journals for a living. Now this is just, don't judge me when I show you the ghetto-ness of my little journal. Okay. But like this one is just made out of scraps from different, so I got like three different types of journal, four different types of journal paper in here. I
Oh,
got ones that I done messed up and hole punched the wrong side. But the goal is have something with you.
period.
If
Period.
you don't want to keep a journal with you, what's your next best thing? Look, is keep notes in your phone. The notes
Yes,
on your phone, audio recordings on your
that one.
phone. Get yourself one of these Claude little things. Get yourself one of these. Claude will can record your conversations and it can transcribe them. It can create little mind maps and stuff for you, and the key talking points,
Nice.
right? Use some way to journal and to get the negative feelings out,
100%.
and to talk back to it every single time and tell it just why you are the right person, why this opportunity is for you, why you deserve love, why all the things, right? Because as you do, you realize what I had to realize is
Come
I'm
on.
the shit.
Come on.
Like when I go through who I am and how I love and how I support people,
Yes.
I am the shit.
Yes.
And
Yes.
sometimes people are not, everybody ain't gonna see it, because, like caviar, I ain't everybody's taste.
Okay, caviar. No, it's real, and we'll mess around and let other people convince us that that we are full of
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
instead of realizing that I am you know what I mean? They get us messed up
Yes.
if we allow their narrative to be the one that guides and teaches us.
Yes. So we gotta get ready to shut it down. So,
Yay.
oh wait, Latoya, you said what's that called again? What's what called again? Oh, you want to know what Agnes meant? Always giving negative energy to shit. I remember that. Agnes. I like that.
I got a whole story about Agnes.
Yes. So if you want to know, if it wasn't what Agnes stood for, then just put another comment to let us know. Oh, Claude. Plaud. Claude is the software that's used to record. Now, what it can also do is it can record your phone conversations. So it can, like, it has a magnetic thing, so you can stick it to the back of your phone. It has an app on your phone, so it can record both sides of a phone conversation. You can use it. I'll use it if I'm in a training session and I'm trying to, I can't write or type as fast as people speak. I can almost type
Mm,
at speed, at spoken word speed, but we can't always.
Yeah.
So it's about how do I get that information. So Plot is great, and I don't even have, I really need an affiliate code, but
Yes, I was just
get
getting ready
one
to
for the
say.
next- I'm gonna get one for next time. I'm gonna get one for next time.
Amen.
Like, y'all
Amen.
hit my TikTok shop and go and get that Plot note, Plot
Period.
from there. So it's great, and there's so many other tools, right? Well, thank you, Latoya. Thank you for tuning in and for joining the conversation with us. So, as we get ready to roll out, why don't you give us your last thoughts? Tell people how they can uh, contact you. And do you have anything fabulous coming up that they can support you in?
Absolutely. All of the things. I just want to reiterate what we talked about. It's literally approach with curiosity, pause to listen, and allow yourself, position yourself to receive. It's not as difficult as it sounds. It's something you offer to so many people. So now it's your turn to get it yourself. I am on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok at Akua Rose. I'm on LinkedIn. You can type in Akua Rose. Um, on those places, I should have put my link tree up there. You'll see in my bio the link tree. One of the things that I have, there's several things that I have. I'll say it really quickly. I have these cards that if you're like, well, how do I question? How do I get into myself? Each of them has a daily prompt. It's either a prompt for reflection or it's a prompt for self-care invitation. And so you pull one card a day or you pull one card every week, however you want to do it, and you allow yourself to respond to whatever it is on that card. That's in my link tree. I also have two books. Four Strong Black Women, you can't, there it is. Four Strong Black Women Who Desire Softness When Perfection Ain't Enough. This
Mm,
is that invitation, opportunity out to step outside of that strong Black woman stereotype. Put the cape down, make a pillowcase out of it or a blanket. I don't know, but we not flying no more.
no
And
more.
then the last one is if you are wanting to heal from some hurt in church spaces, my very first book was Still His, Hope and Healing for Those who have been hurt in the church. And because of my background, you can't see it. But if you go to my link in my bio, it's there. I have a ton of services. My whole goal, like I said at the beginning, is to help Black women find that space inside of them so they can get to authenticity. I got a whole bunch of ways you can connect with me. So reach out, reach out.
Yes. And you can always head on over to wakeuphappysis.com, get on our mailing list. You'll have links to all of the things that we do over there as well. A lot of our services are very similar. Um, I have an affirmation deck that's called Tilted Crown because we need to sometimes shift that crown, but put it back in place. But I want you guys to remember that inner peace, right? That inner peace, that connection to self. It isn't something that you find. Maybe it's something that you create every single day. And each small step that you take towards your spiritual wellness, your reclamation of self. Because we had it all. We're just reclaiming what was
Mhm.
ours. It is a declaration of your worth, of you saying, I belong here. I am worthy of self care, of self love, of rest, right? Of grace. So I think today we've taken such a big step towards realigning with our soul, with our purpose, and kind of getting on that road to how do I find my little blueprint to peace? How do I find my road or my path to thriving from surviving? Right? I want this to be your reminder that you need to show up for yourself every single day and give yourself grace and tell Ricky Bobby and or Agnes to shut the hell up. And with that, we will see you guys again on Monday. Thank y'all. Have the day you were meant to have because you have control over how you respond to all the negative shit that's thrown at you. We'll see you later. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Wake Up Happy Sis Show. Join us live every Monday and Thursday at 10 a.m. Eastern for more joy, healing, and sisterhood. Until next time, keep thriving unapologetically, sis.